here with Lisa Niven Kelly, and today we are making a beautiful necklace. I love this idea, Lisa.
Thank you.
You are not going to believe how fast it is.
It's quick and easy and pretty. It's really fun.
What a great way for beginners to get started with wire wrapping.
Yeah, you know, I almost don't consider this wire work because you're just doing the weaving and cutting it off and tying it off, so it's great for beginners.
So very limited number of tools too, right?
Exactly. I just use cutter and chain nose.
Okay, perfect.
Let's do it. So I'm going to start with 28 gauge sterling dead soft round wire. And this is about 4.5 feet. It's going to dangle here on the floor. And I'm going to make my pendant with this pre-made notched washer.
Okay.
So this is great. It already has the notches in it. It's already got the hole punched. And I'm just going to lay my stone right on top and make sure that I'm holding my stone in the middle. It's very easy to sort of push it to the side, but you want to make sure it is constantly staying centered. Now with my wire, I'm going to hold about about an inch behind the notched washer, and I'm going to come out one notch just somewhere near the hole. It's not really a big deal which one you start with. And I'm going to come over and skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I'm skipping 8 and going into the 9th right there. Let's double count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right there. So I'm going to go right into that notch, and then I'm just going to start weaving around, and I'm going to come up through one notch clockwise from where I'm sitting, and then go through the notch clockwise from that weave there.
Okay, so it's always the one next to it.
Yep. So after you count the first one, you don't have to count anymore because you just follow it. Yep. And I'm going to walk you through this whole thing because weird things happen, like the fact that I'm burying my tail. So I'm going to pull my tail out of the way. This happens sometimes. Perfect. And as I'm weaving here, you want to make sure that you're keeping your wire nice and straight and with good tension. Otherwise, it's put some little wonky spots in there. And that's not the look we're going for. So I'm going to keep weaving, and there's always one wire in each notch, and now I get to a spot where there's already a wire in it, and that's fine because eventually there's going to be 2 wires in each notch.
In every notch.
So that's how you can kind of make sure now that you're still in the right spot. Down here I'm in 1 wire in that notch, but up here, 1 to the right, I've got 2.
This is grown-up string art right here.
It is, it is. We're flashing back to the 70s. It's like a Spirograph meets string art. So I'm pulling with good tension, and I'm coming around and around. Keep an eye on my tail, perfect.
And is the reason you want the tail to stay out because you're going to use that for your
Yeah,
end?
I'm going to tie the 2 ends off eventually. So right here, this is the spot my tail's coming out. I'm going to just ignore that and continue on. Cruising around, making sure now that I have 2 wires in each notch.
I like the idea of using, if you were giving this as a gift, you could use somebody's birthstone or their favorite color.
Yeah,
there are so many options.
Yeah.
Do you have to use a stone that has a point on the back?
No, it's a little harder to hold. Let me just untangle this if it doesn't have a point, but I've done it. You just need to hold it still. This is also a project I want to remind people to not put down while you're in the middle of it. You can imagine if I put it down right now, I'd have a hard time figuring out where I am. But I see here that there's only 1 wire in that notch. There's 2 there, so I'm going to go through the 1.
Okay, so you can kind of find your place if you lose track.
Exactly. And I'm coming around here. It's the last notch with only 1 wire. And if I bring it up, I'm coming to the spot where the tail's coming out. So now I know I'm finished. And you can take a minute to look at each notch and make sure that there's 2 wires in each one, and I'm looking pretty good here. So here to tie off, I'm going to take the 2 wires and cross them into an X and hold them and spin it, and that's going to twist the wires. When you twist the wires, they won't come undone. They'll act as 1 wire. If you were to keep one straight and coil around the other one, it could slip through.
Eventually come apart.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold it kind of in an X pattern like that and hold the tails and twist the piece.
Looks good. This is really easy. I had no idea from looking at the finished piece that it was such a simple technique.
I mean, look how fast we wove that up.
Right.
So now I've got this twisted wire, and I'm just going to trim it at about 1/4 inch. And with the tip of my chain nose, I'm going to grab the tip of the wire and just curl it in and kind of tuck it away so it's not catchy. Just give it a little curl. I'm going to pinch it in a little bit, and then with the back of my chain nose, I'm just using this to press it in.
Perfect.
So that's tied away. Now I look at the front, and if there's any problem solving, like some wires out of place, I tend to kind of take my thumbnail and press.
So you can make your adjustments just
Yeah, if you
at
need
the
to grab
end.
any wires, and see how that tightened everything up.
right.
So from here, you'd put a chain nose, or you'd use your chain nose and another chain nose and put your jump ring on, hang it on a chain, and you're ready to rock.
So simple.
I know, it's fast.
It's a great idea, yeah. And I like some of these samples that you have over here to show that you can use different color. Let's start with that one, because this one with the different colors, it really could bring out different colors in your stone.
Yeah, exactly. So this one I've used color wire here on a sterling notched washer. This is a gold filled notch washer with gold filled wire if you want to get fancy.
Pretty. Yeah, right.
And this one here doesn't have a stone at all. And it's great because you can kind of see both sides of the weaving poke through. I love those guys. Now over here, when you're getting, you're feeling like a pro, you've practiced this a lot, and I also didn't mention that you might want to do it first with string to get used to the weaving before you move to the wire. That really helps you understand. This has a second layer on. So I've done the first layer like I just showed, tied it off, and then I added on another wire and did a second layer but skipped less notches, and that pulls the wire out to the edge. So it puts like another layer on the outside. So that's a little tricky because where before you had 2 wires in each notch, now you're going to have 4. So it's really hard to keep track, but I think it pays off because it gives it a really cool dimension.
Yeah, definitely. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And this necklace that you made has 2 holes, so you would just use your hole punch tool to make an extra hole
you just
there.
use a hole punch plier, and you want to punch that hole before you weave because you can't punch holes after you weave.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
you
that's
would
important.
want to cut through your wire.
That's important for sure. Yeah. So let's see what else. This guy over here, when you're feeling extra adventurous after you get your adventure going here, this is, I've notched holes in the outside of a variety of blanks. So where these are pre-made makes it quick and easy. This you can get a little crazy with. And the way I notch those blanks and those washers is with a hole punch plier. So you just come in and you basically punch 1/2 to 3/4 of a hole, and you get your spacing right, and you can notch whatever you want. So then you can have a variety of shapes and sizes.
So for example, on any of these that are not without the hole in the center, that started out as a circle blank.
Exactly.
And then you just went around with your hole punch tool part way in and made your notches.
Yeah.
I can imagine that would be a little bit tricky to get your spacing.
It is, but it takes a little bit of practice. You can use the actual tool to help with the spacing, the edge of the tool. And like always, practice in copper first. So
Right.
it really, really makes sense. One thing that happens on this, and I've done it a lot, is you notch it, wrap it all up, and you forgot to punch your hole for the jump ring. So don't forget
so make
that.
sure you do that first. Now when you're using colorful wire like these are more of a craft wire. So this isn't something that you would try to add a patina to, but you get that really nice shine.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
You said that you made this bracelet right here in about 30 minutes.
I did.
That's amazing.
It just needs a clasp, but I wanted to bring it out to show. I love the mixed colors in that. I actually am going to go home and oxidize this because the dark wire against the really light stones looks great, and it goes very fast. Once you have the technique down, you can bust them out pretty quick.
Yeah, right. And on punching your holes on this one, you just made sure that you did that exactly opposite, right?
I did, yeah. Just like on this one up here, I did it opposite, but in the middle, I sort of made the holes, well, I strategically placed them so that my centerpiece would hang that way.
Yeah, you get a really beautiful drape with that style.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, these are some great ideas, and I want to go whip some of these up.
Let's do it.